Noose. Just Noose.
It's Noose.
I couldn't name this personally because I'm one of those Latin kind of people. Like, yeah, just pronounce it in Latin.
No, it is Noose, but Noose, formerly known as Top Notch, very beloved within the Oceanic Smite community. A couple of console players that have moved their way on up to the PC side of things, and some other favorites from around the OC scene, Freemason and Split Push. All right, first bands coming through. We see Sylvanas taken away by Avant Garde, Thanatos taken away by Team Noxide. Next band is with Avant Garde.
Yeah, these two bands, we've literally seen those two exact bands come out from the last two games. These two gods are just too strong to let through right now. Their sustain is just out of this well, especially when you build things like Shield and Regrowth from Thanatos. Ratatosko, however, and Zeus both being banned this game. Maybe they were able to see Pretty Boys' game, and they were like, nope, we cannot let that Zeus go through, and we don't want to be giving that global pressure to Noxide.
The Zeus is such a strong pick at the moment. Not only does it allow you to get pressure in lane in a lot of matchups, but also things like mid-half pick attention, buff camps, and things like that. The chain lightning is just so strong because you can bounce it off the minions and onto enemy gods. It slows them down, and then you've got a guaranteed more damage coming through with that detonate charge.
And now we come up to the first pick of Kepri, which is a very respectable first pick. However, that has allowed for the Apollo to be let through, and Split Push, he's going to be very happy that that Apollo has gone through.
Yeah, that's where he got his name from, was from continuously split pushing on Apollo. Poseidon now locked in for Noxide as well for Noose in the mid lane. That's basically one of two picks we've seen in play. It's been Poseidon, it's been Vulcan.
Yes, however, I think we've also seen him play a little bit of Thoth as well, I'm pretty sure. Just a tiny bit. Not that much, though, as you said. The main predominant picks there are going to be that Poseidon or the other god. However, now as well, looking at Avant Garde, Thor and Rum locked in for the side of Avant Garde. It's actually both of those nice, really strong picks there. The Rum can do a very similar job to Apollo, can do a lot of late game split pushing. Not to the same effect as the Across the Skies, but can still do a great job of split pushing. And Thor just has that nice global ultimate for the team fights.
Ram as well is a hyper carry. He's very late game. He's got a great steroid on his 2. He's got great damage steroid on his 1. He's got a cripple on his 3 as well. Perfect late game carry, one of the best in the game. Geb now locked in for Team Noxide, looking to protect Noose in the mid lane. Izanami taken away by Noxide. Odin taken away by Avant Garde, looking to keep the Odin Poseidon combination away from Noxide. Previously, when members of Noxide have been in the OPL, we have to look all the way back to Season 2 for that. They were very much into this Odin with big high burst mages in the mid lane combination, whether that was the Scylla or whether that was the Poseidon. That was kind of their core game plan. They ran for a lot of the OPL when they were in it. So Avant Garde, obviously remembering back to that time, taking that away from Noxide. Vamana and Hombart's going to be the next bands.
Yeah, that Verman band just targeting out Avant Garde. They're trying to make sure that they just have a very easy soul lane. Verman, he can just have quite an easy time in the soul lane due to the fact he does have that umbrella ring for quite quick clear, and they don't want Alkira to have an easy return to the OPL. And now Susano actually being locked in as well. Freemason, he's one of his best gods. He can do quite a decent job of getting ahead nice and early and providing a lot of utility as well as damage in the team fights.
All right, Hercules locked in here for Avant Garde. The famous El Curo over in the solo lane, or at least famous if you play OCE casuals, where he's guaranteed to destroy if he's on the other team or feed if he's on your team. He's going to be playing that Hercules, one of his favorite picks, and he really knows how to exploit this in the solo lane and press it to its full advantage. We are going to see our first Thoth in the Oceanic region. He was not allowed last time we played here in OCE, so we're very keen to see what Just Speedy on the side of Avant Garde can pull out with that. Chark locked in now for Team Noxide.
I don't know whether to discuss how amazing Thoth is right now or discuss how mediocre Shark is. When I think about Shark, I think of a god who does pretty decently in the laning stage. You're not going to lose on Shark in the laning stage. So that's just one thing you can secure. But everything else about him is mediocre. His team fight's mediocre. His mid to late game is... his damage is lacking, and the only real heart he has is a silence and a knock-up. While if you have a look at Hercules, he just does so much more for the team fight, and especially that setup for the Thoth ultimate, which is going to be doing a lot of damage.
He basically does what Chark does, but better. The only thing that Chark has over him, I would say, is that Chark has a big area effect silence in his ultimate. Hercules can get, will struggle a little bit with lane pressure if El Curo plays this incorrectly, but as I mentioned, very experienced on this character, should know what he's doing. Whereas Chark, it's a very simple method to clear the wave. Texi, this is the first time he's playing in the OPL, previously with console, so maybe he's just looking for something nice and simple to get his comfort levels up.
Well, luckily, he also has Freemason alongside him as well. That Storm Carter going to be providing a decent amount of clear as well in the solo lane to just relieve you out a bit of stress, just in case you don't hit that axe. And he's just kind of throwing out a little bit of pressure there, just damaging Alcario just the tiniest amount. Over in the mid lane, just the Guardian has opted to actually go into the mid lane. We haven't seen yet a Guardian go over to the duo lane, which is something we've been seeing a little bit more in NA rather than OCE.
Right, mid lane push here at the start, actually going the way of Avant-Garde. They managed to get some early clear out. The Khepri, really useful for this Thoth in the early game. Thoth does struggle early with his wave clear.
Especially now that you're started level 1, you're not coming to wave and you're getting level 2 as soon as possible. You don't have that Glyph of Pain, so Tomolomu using that Rising Dawn to provide an extra bit of dog damage, and also it just makes it easier to ensure that he gets last hits. Getting last hits on Thoth, very important for that passive stacking, even before getting that Book of Thoth, which he most likely will be getting.
The side of Avant-Garde to go ahead and take away the blue buff. We see a familiar name under the Avant-Garde banner, Rob Diggity. Did play for the Avant squad last year, but in the Hunter role rather than the jungle. He's making his transition into that non-lane, I suppose, this year, looking to provide some pressure out of that for the rest of his team. And, you know, in the Hunter role for Avant-Garde instead is going to be Zaze. And this is a guy that's been around the Challenger scene for a little while and has had a little bit of hype attached to his name from those kind of circles, saying, you know, this guy could be the next big player in OCE.
Yes, and that could be very true, but currently in the mid lane, we do also see that Just Speedy able to steal away the red buff completely away from Noxide there. They didn't have a clue, and they've already got a 1-level lead over Noxide. They've been able to just really ensure that they're getting these camps, and it looks like they're actually going for the mid camps as well that haven't been taking it, further cementing that lead.
And this is kind of similar to what we saw Legacy do against Pretty Boys in the last set, was take away a lot of this farm early, really don't give Noxide a chance to even really get into the game.
However, the Freemason getting
pulled in there, but the shell comes through from Tomolomu to prevent a lot of damage onto his mid lane. They're going to be able to just clear up the lane just 5, but Freemason poking his head into the lane, applying a little bit of pressure for his team. This is something we didn't see Desecrated doing in the last set, and now we could see the effect of that. It's allowing Noxide to go ahead and take these mid Harpies and get a little bit of farm for their team.
Yeah, that's a really nice stuff for Noxide. They did lose that red buff, and they lost, I believe, the Elementals as well. So to be able to, one, regain that ward vision, which is actually quite crucial, especially against a Thor who's going to be looking to gank split push, as well as just get that experience and gold under your belt, is just a really nice start for them. Having a look in that duo lane, though, we do see that Zaze has hit 5, but he has got a little bit of a health missing.
Yeah, a little bit low on health and mana, nothing too much to worry about here, but, you know, certainly can't go for an overly aggressive play, especially if he doesn't want to dive under tower. We can see Noose and Sharks in the area as well, so his team will be calling out to him that they are missing, and he's not looking to take any chances here. They spotted that the Oracle Harp is down, at the ward is in the direction of Noxide Esports, or Team Noxide, whichever they prefer to go under. And he's going to return to lane and farm up. Now, Split Push, you know, he's also been kind of around the Challenger scene for a little bit. Did play briefly in the OPL in Season 2, but really didn't make a name for himself there. He's been attached to this Noxide squad for a fair while here. And, you know, while his name does suggest a proclivity for split pushing, it's, you know, it's not really his style anymore. His style is very much carrying out of the duo lane.
Yeah, we saw it especially during the qualifiers. He was actually doing great little split pushing as Freemason does a little bit of burst damage there to Rob Diggity. Just applying the poke there, just really making sure he is not getting those elementals and returning back to lane.
Solo lane, Rob Diggity still over on this side of the map, helping his solo laner El Kuro farm up safely against Texi. Mid lane, right-hand side Harpies are going to fall the way of Avant-Garde. No real big difference between these teams thus far, and if we look at the graph, 1600 experience is probably the biggest thing to talk about here. It is actually a decent lead for 4 minutes into the game.
Yeah, just having a look at that, just due to the fact they were able to steal away those buffs. Stealing away a red buff is a pretty big deal, not to mention they do have the timer on it as well. So just those little pieces of information can give Avant-Garde quite a decent lead, especially if they choose to capitalize it, which it seems like Just Speedy and Tomolomu have already done, and they may plan to do again. However, Noose and Split Push, they're not going to allow their red buff to get stolen away again, and they are just picking that up straight away.
Speedy and Tomolomu might be in trouble here if Noxide recognize and collapse. They don't actually. They had a 4-2 advantage there, but chose instead to go their separate ways. Could have possibly got the first one onto the Thoth or the Khepri there, but instead just choosing to disperse and farm up elsewhere.
And now Just Speedy hiding behind that void camp, looking for split push. Ultimate doesn't connect though, and Just Speedy is now just going to back under the void camp.
You can see behind him, Sharks looking for the knock-up, not going to find it in time to stop the back here. Zaze hasn't burned his ultimate, neither has Tomolomu. Sharks looking to roll in. Zaze happy to let himself roll away there. Noose not in a position to capitalize off any of the pressure that Split Push and Sharks just generated.
Yeah, now all that Noose can do is just really get these mid Harpies returned to lane. And also, it looks like the Oracle Harpies should be up again very soon as they are flashing. So, Split Push Sharks, Noose just working together to pick those up. As Tomolomu was forced to back to finish his items over in the solo lane, though. Rob Diggity and Elcaro zoning away Texties from the XP from the Elementals.
I really like Noxide's strategy here of keeping the pressure and the cure onto these Oracle Harpies. They're really worried, evidently, about Avant taking an early Gold Fury or trying to go for an early gank onto this dual lane. You know, it's a classic combination, Thor ulting out of the Gold Fury pit into the dual lane. They're not going to be able to do that with the ward coverage in that Gold Fury pit now. And as well as that prevents Avant from looking at the Gold Fury. I really like this strategy.
Yeah, you really need to be keeping that eye on the Gold Fury as Noxide. They have the Thoth, they have the Ram's Knight, they even have the Boulder if Elcaro decides to teleport over there. So they need to ensure that they can't just allow them to take it free because they do have the burst ultimates to take them for free. So with the fact that they have guaranteed ward vision, it can't be removed, they can just rest a little bit easier, focus on placing wards other places. But looking at the map though, Husey, we can see a lot of blue wards on the map.
Left-hand side as well, Zaze looking to almost solo split push down there completely. The wards are also on the left-hand side of the map. Very good coverage there for Avant towards that duo lane. And this is the point where the Poseidon ultimate is really going to start to hurt a lot. And if there's a lane that they don't want to get behind, it is that duo lane. Split push on this Apollo can carry them.
Yeah, not to mention, due to the fact he does have that across the skies, he has that versatility to be able to rotate. However, he has just used the across the skies to get back into lane, kind of like a Jing Wei passive, but that is going to be down for quite a while, and if Avant are smart, they can capitalize that. However, just Speedy getting extremely low as Freemason trying to finish off the job.
Speedy, though, does manage to get himself away. Elcuro zoning away the rest of them, but Zaze managed to pick up the first kill here onto Noose in the mid lane in combination with Rob Diggity. Split push has arrived, though. Not going to be able to get close enough to Avant to deal any damage here. Elcuro boxing it out with Texie, but going to manage to get himself back to lane.
And that was the warding there from Avant. You cannot use that across the skies just lightly to get back to lane. You even now in this early portion of the game, you saw that just Zaze rotating across the map, just getting a really easy rotation. And what all Split Push could really do is maybe clear him anyway, but by the time he realized what was going on, Zaze had already picked up a kill, and a kill on Ram this early is worrying signs for Noxide.
He's got the level advantage. He's got his Devoure's Gauntlets completed as well, so he's going to be able to start stacking that up. And that's a huge amount of power and lifesteal once he manages to get all 75 stacks online.
Not to mention as well, during that team fight, have a look at Just Speedy. He's actually gone for an extremely risky build, going for that Doom Orb. And that was a really just nice job by Elcaro, just driving strike away Freemason, just allowing to get away on about, I'd probably say less than 100 health there. And if he had lost those stacks, it's not as major as losing 50, but it's still losing that power that you would have once had.
Right, grouping around the Gold Fury by Team Noxide here. Left-hand side mid Harpies are up. Just Speedy does have a lot of range to potentially be able to steal these ones away. Looks like they are going to go the way of Team Noxide. Oracle Harpies are going to be spawning soon as well, and we've seen how much they prioritize that objective.
Yes, but I think Noxide have a much harder time this time around now that they've got that level lead, and they have been forced onto tower as well, even the dual lane. Split push, forced under tower, low mana, about 75% health as Noxide now rotating their way back to these Oracle Harpies. But this time they look a bit more apprehensive as they know Avant are in the area.
Split push trying to catch Zaze out here as he enters back into the lane. Not going to happen though. Avant start up the Oracle Harpies, but Noxide recognize this, don't allow them in and get much pressure. Mid lane, Rob Diggity going to force the wave under the tower as well, forcing Noxide to take that one out, clean it up. Oracle Harpies in the meantime taken by Avant. Excellent teamwork there from the boys in blue.
There was not really much Noxide could do. It was going to be a lose-lose either way. Either you lose your wave to tower, or you try and contest it, and at that point, especially due to the amount of burst Avant have, even if they were able to secure one, they might not have been able to secure that second Oracle Harpy, gaining them the necessary ward vision, which can still be seen as a loss, even though you do get the XP. And now, Freemason just going a bit of the ward vision battle, trying to get that aggressive ward right by the red buff.
Let's take a look at some of our items here. We're actually seeing on both of our mid lane is the new starter item, Sands of Time, gives a little bit of cooldown, some magical power, and MP5. How important is cooldown to a mid laner?
Especially gods like Poseidon and Thoth who are using those massive teamfight ultimates. It is extremely necessary to have that up more often. Not to mention, most gods you see nowadays, they don't really build into the Shoes of Focus anymore. They will be building into the Shoes of the Magi. And what the Sands of Time allow is basically a supplement to not having that 10% from the Shoes of Focus.
We're seeing a Doom Orb as well here from the Thoth as Team Noxide look to get some pressure in around this Fire Giant Pit, potentially even look at the Portal Demon, though don't know if they have the damage quite online to do it yet. But we're seeing the Doom Orb out of the Thoth from Just Speedy. We've really an item that is kind of fallen out of favor a little bit towards the end of Season 3. Are we perhaps seeing a resurgence here in Season 4?
I don't know if we're seeing a resurgence. This is not something I've seen almost any other mid laner do in both either in the SPL, in the OPL, or any sort of region I've watched recently has been building that Doom Orb. It is such a risky item to pick up. You can say granted Thoth has that massive dash if he does use the Glyph of Pain, but if he does get caught out by a Noose, if he does get caught out by Split Push or Freemason, that's just setting him back quite a lot of distance, and it's not really a necessary setback. Like you're just setting yourself up, and basically it's saying Avant Garde. They're saying we know we can keep Just Speedy alive, and we know how to win these team fights before he dies.
Rob Didi was potentially looking for a gank there over on the left-hand side, but just couldn't seem to get Split Push into a position where he could capitalize off anything that Zaze was doing. So a little bit of wasted time there for the jungler from Avant Garde. Going to go ahead and farm us the back camps here. Net worth pretty evenly spread across the board. Looking at the graphs, 1,200 gold difference, 500 experience difference, dipped a fair bit down back towards Noxide, Team Noxide, I should say, in the last few minutes. So Avant Garde had a bit of control of this game early on, but seeming to let it slip out of their grasp.
It's not even letting them slip, it's just there hasn't been any team fights. Noxide playing it very, very safe, except for that one team fight in the mid lane. And until then, they've also been doing a good job, unlike Pretty Boys in the last set. Just they've been also getting their objectives, they've been securing Avant, haven't been able to put as much pressure on. And it's going to be coming down to once this Gold Fury fight starts happening is when we're going to really start seeing the pressure. But do you think we'll be seeing a Gold Fury anytime soon, or do you think they're just going to keep on farming?
I think they're going to keep on farming until they get a man advantage or so, because at the moment they're just too even to potentially risk that objective, especially if they're not sure that they have ward vision or not. You can see the Oracle Harpies start up here by Team Noxide. One of them actually stolen away there by Tomolomu. Great wall there, double tap onto Noose, but he's going to be able to walk away there with the help of his team.
And also look at that, Alkyra actually hasn't even used the teleport, just walked across the map. It looks like they actually Avant starting the Gold Fury there, that one person, as you mentioned, behind the fight being Noose. And now it looks like Noxide they've realized, but will this be too late?
Rob Diggity up into the sky, looking for a target, trying to pick one here. Noose escapes into the backline. Shark gets a 3-man ultimate, but Rob Diggity crashes down onto Noose, gets the Kraken off for himself. Rob Diggity beads perfectly to escape the pull-in from Freemason. Great Kepri ultimate over the wall from Tomolomu. Saves the life of Rob Diggity, but he should fall down soon to Texi. The pluck from Tomolomu saves Rob Diggity once again, and now Texi's in a little bit of trouble.
Having a look at the boulder there, doing a little bit of damage. However, Split Push using the across the sky to come crashing down onto Rob Diggity. You are not lazing back in today, is what Noxide is saying. However, the fight is still raging on by the Void Bet Hunt. Zaze looking to go into the sky for the snipes. Sharks on the tiniest hole, but that will be as Zaze picks up the kill.
Texi dashing away, Split Push, taking some damage as well, but both members there of Team Noxide managed to get out. So a 1-for-1 trade there. Overall, actually, sorry, a little bit better than a 1-for-1 trade there, going in the favor of Avant Garde. Gold Fury should be started up and completed here by Avant Garde as well. Now missing Rob Diggity, not the worst person to be missing when taking the Gold Fury. Split Push might try and contest this, but the damage is enough for Avant Garde to secure it before Split Push can steal it.
That was just a really solid team fight from Tomolomu. Everything he did there was just so well done. Not to mention the fact that the Berserker's Barrage is actually a really nice hard counter to the Susano Typhoon, due to the fact that the Berserker's Barrage makes you knock up immune. And that was just Tomolomu using the pulls, using the revive, and he ensured that Avant Garde won that team fight. Without those key plays there, Noxide could have easily steamrolled and could be a very different situation, but Kraken picking up Rob Diggity.
Yeah, really nice work there from Freemason, just kind of juggling Rob Diggity, keeping him within range, doing as much damage as he could, getting him within the threshold for the Kraken to deal enough damage to take him down.
And now Just Speedy trying to find something, but he realized Noose is too fast on that Poseidon. There's no way he's going to be hitting with his ultimate. However, contrary to popular belief, instead of split pushing, it's Zaze that is split pushing, able to get the tier 1, the first tower to fall in this game.
Mid lane though, Speedy in a lot of trouble here. Texi picks him up with the ultimate. Tomolomu going to fall down to Noose as well. So Noxide get themselves a few return kills and now find themselves with a kill advantage No farm up on the right-hand side of the map other than this portal dim, and it looks like that's going to be their target.
Portal dim is not something to snuff at though. Getting that is, well, in my opinion, worth a lot more than 2 mid-harvest and a speed buff.
But it's not worth a tier 2 tower though, which Zaze is now currently split pushing on the left-hand side.
Yes, and it looks like actually Split was trying to somebody across the skies, but Ram using his steroid there to just absolutely melt down that tower. Split was trying to use the mez. The beats coming from Zaze, and now the box war has begun.
And Zaze winning this one pretty handily at the moment. Split push taking a lot of damage here. Needs to be careful. Zaze does have an ultimate. Shark's going to be rolling down the lane though, and have the Stone Shield available. Freemason's collapsing now as well. Zaze might have stuck around a little bit too long here. He is going to split out Freemason with the ward, dashes away, gets the 2 towers, and gets his team a nice chunk of golden experience.
I really like the fact that Zaze didn't get too greedy there. A lot of mistakes that casual players can make when going into that kind of a boxing match is that they have to see it through. They get that tunnel vision and be like, I have to kill my opponent, I have to kill my fellow ADC. But when you also give away your life, it's not worth it. You're just throwing away a knife unnecessarily. And Zaze there just realizing that Freemason could be around the corner any second, just backing up and making a really smart play.
Alrighty, 16 minutes into the game. Graphs, gold experience well in advantage now for Avant Garde. Experience 1300 in their favor as well. So even though Noxide have got the kill advantage and made some nice plays towards the end of those little engagements, at the moment Avant Garde still have the advantage.
However, now with our tier 1 tower just being taken down there by Split Push, that will kind of nudge it back in the favor. However, a nice room may actually be able to get Texas as he's pulled in, trying to use the Stormcall there to just run away.
Tomolomu trying to find a pluck on a Texi. Not really going to find anything here, and Avant Garde going to push down this right-hand side tier 1 tower, it looks like next. There are 5 members of Noxide in the area, though, to contest this. Kraken is up for Noose. Rob Diggity and El Kiro keeping Freemason and Sharks away from the fight thus far. Texi dashes forward, uses the ultimate, only gets one with it though. Rob Diggity up into the sky. Oh, Texi in a lot of trouble here as he's plucked in by El Kiro. Boulder comes through, but Rob Diggity's the one that gets the kill with a spin to win onto Texi. Zaze up into the sky. Once that comes through, the second land. Split Push is dead. 2 members of Noxide have already fallen down, and Avant Garde's on a rampage. El Kiro gets the pluck. He finds Noose. Aegis burnt by the Poseidon. Nowhere for him to run here. Kraken comes through, and then knock up from Freemason is keeping Noose alive under this tower, but he's walled in place. The Thoth ultimate comes out. Rob Diggity gets his second kill of the fight.
And now Avant Garde, they're just going to keep pushing the lead. Only 2 members alive, a Geb and a Sasano. And you've got 5 members who are basically at full health except for just Speedy, just hanging in the backline using that Grip of Pain to amplify the damage even more. And if they want, Avant Garde, they could easily look now to go for Fire Giant or to steal the rest of the buffs, as they had a convincing win in that team fight. What started out as a disadvantage, losing their tower over in the solo lane, turned into just a really nice play from Avant Garde.
Exactly right, and the key for me there was Rob Diggity and El Kiro keeping Freemason and Sharks away from the fight. That didn't allow the rest of Noxide to really engage at all and disrupt what Avant Garde were trying to do. By the time that Noxide were actually able to even get in the fight, Avant had already positioned themselves how they want. They already knew where everyone on Noxide was. They knew what they had used. They were able to run the fight to their advantage.
And Alkira as well just doing a really good job on the Hercules, setting up Tomolomu. Because the whole point of when you play a Kepri is that you're meant to be in the backline, being more of a backline sport rather than kind of charging in. And Alkira allows that setup for him to go in, get the first pluck, and then go straight into that second pluck, as well as just Speedy just setting up the stun. It's just so much combo potential out of that side. And currently it looks like Noxide are finding it really hard to find some sort of way around the positioning that Avant have, and also the fact that they're constantly changing Noxides without their permission.
Take a look at the graphs. Huge lead now for Avant Garde. 5,000 experience, 6,000 gold. You can see the big leap up there in the last minute and a half or so. Left-hand side, Zaze is even going to prevent Split Push from taking out his tower. Speedy doing some damage to the Apollo ADC. Across the skies, burnt already as well. So that big ultimate down for the Apollo. Now, Avant Garde going to be looking at this Gold Fury.
Zaze has just been doing so much this game. Just have a look at the player damage. Currently 2,500. Actually, no, it would be 3,000 ahead of the Shark, which is the closest one, which is actually kind of a surprise when I see Shark. You would expect maybe a Thoth or a Poseidon. But Zaze has been doing a really good job. He's been rotating so early on. And every time he's rotated, he's gotten something from it, and then immediately found a way to get back into his farming rhythm. He hasn't been stopping farming. He's got a 3-level lead over over split push his respected ADC, and now it looks like Noxide looking to get that Storm Call onto Tomolomo.
Alright, Texi gets a 2-man knock up there. Up into the sky goes Rob Diggity. Shell pop by the side of Avant. Speedy trying to find a target for his ultimate. Sharks gets a 3-man stun there as Rob Diggity comes crashing out of the fight. Freemason, a lot of damage there. Kraken doesn't land onto anyone. Kepri ultimate burn very early though. Freemason taken very low, needs to be very careful here. Zay's up in the sky, he's rooted in place. Aegis comes through, Zay's just can't find the snipe. Freemason managing to live. Texi zoning away the rest of Avant-Garde to a null engagement thus far, but Zay's dashing in, he wants more.
Now they're looking to go on Shark. Shark's trying to use the Stone Shield there, but the plug from Kepri will be easily enough as just Speedy finishes on with an auto attack. And now Avant, they're not even going for the tier 1, they're just running right past Zay and putting the damage into the tower. Kara doing a good job of zoning the rain coming down from Shark, only just slowing them temporarily, and and it's now just a full engage under the tier 2 as well. Noose very low. Freemason though, he's looking for something in the back.
No, it's going to be Elkira who finds Texi, knocks him up. Freemason trying to do some damage, pulls Zaze into the tower. Zaze is silenced by Texi once again, but Zaze lifestealing a lot at this point, going to keep himself alive. Not the case though for Tomolomo, who falls down to split push Rob Diggity. Excellent wall and double tap onto Freemason. Zaze though is the one that picks up the kill with a basic attack. So Avant-Garde get the mid tier 1 tower, pay for it with a couple of lives, and now going to back away and farm up.
And with that, the tier 2 as well is just on its last legs. All you really need to do is send just Speedy or Zaze up there for just less than maybe 10 seconds. And that tower is going to fall, and that will be all of the defenses. The only thing left will be the Phoenixes. And that's when Avant can really try to capitalize. They can go for that Doi Phoenix. And would you agree that they could possibly as well go for Fire Giant just straight after that and just really just clench this game?
Oh, probably not at the moment because everyone on Noxide is going to be respawning. It's going to be a very risky fight if they go for it. Similar to the Gold Fury earlier, they really need to try and find a man advantage before they go for such a big objective.
Having a look at the item builds, we do see the Thoth has gone for a respectable build, which we have seen in the past, building both the Doom Orb as well as the Book of Thoth. Makes a lot of sense of Thoth just because he's already stacking from his passive and just building into that. But we also have a look as well, and we can see that the Kepri actually is building possibly into a Mail of Renewal. Thoughts, Easy?
Well, the Mail of Renewal is a useful-ish item. It depends on if your team is getting a lot of kills. If you're not, you're really not going to proc that passive that often. The other option you could potentially be going for is a Gauntlet of Thebes, which this season gives you a lot of health and gives your team protections in an aura.
The protections could be actually quite necessary, as we do see that the Poseidon has finished on Obsidian Shard, the Dynasty Plate Helm, and the Shoes of Focus, but Portal Demon going very much in the way of Avant, as well as they pull Texi right into place.
Texi does get a 4-man knock-up here. He's driving straight back, though, by Elkiro. Knock-up doesn't land, but the wall does from Rob Diggity. Texi, still very tanky at this point, going to dash away over the wall with the help of his axe. Tomolomo pulled in by Freemason, taking some damage, but he's a pretty tanky Kepri at this point, so he's going to be able to walk away A-OK.
And now Alcara is diving right behind the backcams as the rest of the team just finishing up the push in the mid lane. There is a couple straggler minions keeping them away from being pushed, but they just by themselves can look to dive this tower if they really so please.
Speedy getting some good poke damage there onto Team Noxide. Rob Diggity and Freemason around to the left-hand side. Freemason stops the wall. He stopped the dash, though, does Rob Diggity. Freemason getting hit with that Berserker's Barrage. The Aegis comes off, but Rob Diggity picks him up with an auto attack there. And now Avant-Garde going to look to pressure down this tier 2 mid tower, which they couldn't get before. Elkiro knocks up, split push, gets it back. The Stone Shield and Aegis isn't enough. Ultimate from Just Speedy comes out. Noose very low. Noose is dead as Rob Diggity gets the kill. Boulder comes out from Elkiro. Split push is chunked down as Zaze takes the mid tier 2 tower. He's up with a snipe. He finds one. He doesn't hit the second. Third one, not enough range here as Sharks gets back to the fountain. Texi, a lot of trouble, knocks up 3 members here, but Speedy picks him up with the ability, and Texi falls down, and Middle Phoenix going to fall down as well.
That was just a beautiful fight from Avant. Noxide trying everything they can, but they just can't output enough damage. The first Phoenix fallen, but Avant, they're not confident, they're not happy with just one. They're going for the second as well, and with the Glyph of Pain, there is not going to be a single thing that can stop them right now. Only 3 members alive, Sharks, Freemason, and Split Push, and they're trying to find something as Avant is getting a nice free back and taking all the farm away from Noxide. Noxide looking in dire stress right now. Do you think they can come back, Yuzi?
There is always potential to come back. They never say never until, you know, it's not over until the fat lady sings, basically. But at the moment, it is looking very dire for Team Noxide.
I think it's like now is a good time to kind of mention the troubled past of Noxide, and especially what's been happening with them. Noxide as a team, they've done an amazing job during the Challenger Cup, but whenever it came to qualifying, they always just got stuck just before they're able to qualify. Noxide in the past having a lot of issues with clenching our games and then just knowing how to finish a game, how to take objectives. and they are not known for really playing well from behind. So this could be something they could either just surprise us and actually pull out this win, or they may be sticking to old traditions, not really knowing how to come back from this behind.
All right, so it is going to be a gauntlet of thieves here for Tomolomu. We look at that item, we can see it gives you 400 health and gives you some protections in an aura to your allies as well. So really kind of completing the aura tree of items for supports to get. You know, you've got your sovereignty, your Heartwood amulet as well. And now you've got this gauntlet of thieves. Really, the whole team of Avant, this is really a big pickup for them, because now the combination coming out from Noose and Sharks isn't going to be nearly as effective.
Well, not only that, like currently, Noose hasn't been able to even finish up his Roto to Hoodie or could possibly be a Chronos Pendant. And it looks like Avant, however, they're looking to go
Zay's trying to go for the solo kill into split push, but doesn't manage to land the ultimate. Split push going to walk away there, but Zay's definitely wins the boxing match, forces away the Apollo.
And now all the lanes getting pushed up. Solo lane about to actually make its way to the Phoenix. Mid-wave getting pushed up there with a little help from Just Speedy. And with Avant, they have this completely open Fire Giant, and Tomolomu starting it up.
They forced Noxide back. 2 Phoenixes down. 5 minions are going towards the Titan on the Chaos side of the map. Fire Giant already around 50% HP, and it doesn't look like Noxide really want to contest it. Zaze is here now, so he's going to be able to chunk this objective down. Fire Giant falls to Avant Garde. The natural target, I would assume, would be the left-hand side Phoenix, unless they're trying to force a fight around the Titan pit.
I feel like at this point, Avant, if they want, they could really just look to go and force that fight. The current lead is 10,000 XP, 14,000 gold. And in my books, usually once you get above 10k, that's when you're like, you can win almost any fight as long as you play Valkyrie, getting pushed into the whirlpool, taking a lot of damage. Like, already given the Kepri revive.
Oh my goodness.
They heal. That's what happens when you have a Hercules on your team. They heal, they're just completely...
Heal and the meditation, so big there from Valkyrie, from nearly death to full HP.
And they also have the Fire Giant buff as well for HP regeneration. Valkyrie just tanking the Phoenix, using that 3, the knockup, trying to come out there from Texas, but it's not doing anything. Avant just reset, and now they're looking to go right back in as Thor goes into the sky.
Good stun there from Sharks, trying to find any kind of damage as Noose, but Split Push is chunked down by the Thoth Ultimate and the Boulder coming out of Valkyrie. Tomolomu takes a fair bit of damage there, but all 3 Phoenixes are down now for Team Noxide. Fire Giant on a relatively healthy Avant squad here. This is very, very dire for Team Noxide. Split Push doesn't get the wall there, but he is hit by the double tap coming out of Rob Diggity. No room from Tomolomu. Valkyrie charging basically straight forward, looking to find Split Push here. Driving strikes him back. There's no follow-up damage though onto Split Push. Freemason looking for the knock-up here, knocks up Zaze, but he immunes the damage with the Aegis. And now Avant-Garde pushing down this mid lane. Phoenix about to respawn. They should be able to take this one free as Freemason is chunked down.
Split Push tries to go down there across the skies, but immediately is already sent back to base. Actually stunned before he can even get there. Rob Diggity finishing up with a spin to win. Tomolomu and Just Speedy quite low as well, but Texas Shark just can't find anything. Just Speedy though, still trapped in the backline. Freemason finally finding something for his troubles, but it's still, that Titan is currently experiencing the 5 minutes pouring in, and Freemason taking quite a lot of damage from Rob Diggity as well after that Aegis.
Texie, actually it's Noose that picks up Zaze under the fountain. Rob Diggity up into the sky. Freemason trying to get what damage he can, but it's not enough to stop Rob Diggity. But Avant-Garde, they take down the left-hand side Phoenix. However, they're not able to convert it into a win.
It doesn't really matter at this point for Avant-Garde. They've been able to basically get 3 Phoenixes on their side. Once you get 3 Phoenixes, usually that's when you start getting almost to the point of no return. That's when things get very difficult. The waves are pushing up. They don't have anyone to defend, and with Split Push actually dying there as well, it just makes it that a little bit much harder. It's forcing Texies and Noose to really carry the big guns, and Sharks kind of put into the solo lane due to the fact they aren't 5 minutes, but it's still going to take him quite a while to clear those waves. It's going to be a lot harder for Noxide to defend against this next push, and if Avant want, they can just go straight for the Portal Demon and just try and end this.
The biggest thing for me in these fights has been Avant-Garde really struggling with target selection. Everyone's been very spread out. They have a lot of damage online. Speedy and Zaze are top of the damage charts, but they haven't been able to choose which target to go on, and they've spread the damage around, so the members of Team Noxide have been able to get out on low health and come back. Their fountains right there. They heal back up, get into the fight, and take down members of Avant-Garde.
It makes it very hard for Avant due to the fact that Noxide do have a lot of mobility. You have the Torrent from Shark. You have Susano with, if you can't cripple him, he is just going to dash around the map like an absolute madman. Nu's making it just a little bit harder to mobilize when you have that cripple. Sharks, who's going to be using the shield to cleanse anyone to allow them to use their escape, and then the Split Push has the across the skies as well as the moves. They just like have so many ways to get around it. Avant, as you said, they need to start really focusing one member at a time. But I think the one member they're going for now is the solo lane Phoenix, as everyone is now grouping on this solo lane side.
Wall from Rob Diggity. Stone Shield comes out from Sharks to prevent the damage to Split Push. Rob Diggity knocked up there with the Kraken. Texi taken low, but managed to heal himself with the meditation. Split Push gets the kill on the Rob Diggity. Speedy charging the ult. Not going to choose to fire that one off just yet. Zaze frontlining here, looking to get some damage down on the Phoenix. He's getting a lot onto that one. The great whirlpool there from Noose means Zaze takes a lot of damage. Sharks charges in. El Kiro gets the kill onto Freemason. Up in the sky goes Zaze, but he doesn't manage to find a proper target. Hits the third one onto Split Push, who's now forced back to the Titan. So Avant should be able to get this right-hand side Phoenix.
And now that they got this right-hand side Phoenix, they can either look to go for a risky end, and now they actually were able to get Sharks there just to get one more kill into the bank. Zay's now 5-1-4. He still has that flickering ritual sitting in his consumables, just waiting for that one time they get into the base finally, as now it's a battle to get that Titan below 75% health.
Split Push knocked back into the fountain. Capriol comes out to be used onto Speedy as he got very low there. Texi, though, still chasing after that thug. Gets him with the Bluestone Pendant. Tick. Split Push taken out, though, by Zaze. El Kiro doesn't manage to lock Texi. Plays Noose. Pops the Whirlpool there. He's looking for Zaze, but Zaze is chunking down this Titan. Our Avant Garde just need to keep them off his back, and the Titan is going to fall down. Avant take game number 1 over Team Noxide.
When you get a Ram that goes 6-1-4, there is very little that can stop him. He had the Deathbringer, he had the Wind Demon, and he had everything else. He actually, if this game went any later, he probably would have sold that Ichabod, picked up possibly a third crit item, or even gone into the Shin size, but that was a closer game than Avant would have liked, but it's still a very convincing win at the end. During that early game, Noxide, to give them credit, they did a really nice job actually keeping the damage low. They were able to actually keep pretty level with keeping level with the team, but until once those late game fights started happening, when they started getting caught out of position, when Elkira was doing just such a good job on the Hercules, there really wasn't much they could do.
Yeah, excellent work there by Zaze. 31k damage, you can see. Speedy as well, 29k damage. But for me, the real champion of that game was El Kiro. Great zoning, great initiation as well. Just kept the side of Noxide really disrupted. Couldn't do anything against Avant Garde. We are going to take a short break now between game 1 and game number 2. Don't go anywhere.
Run to the other side.